Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy laid candles at a memorial in Kiev on Monday as he marked International Holocaust Remembrance Day. According to Associated Press Zelenskyy, together with representatives of the Jewish community and Ukrainian officials, held a ceremony at the memorial in the capital where they paid their respects to the victims of the Holocaust. "The crime of the Holocaust must never be repeated," Zelenskyy wrote on his social media page. But gradually, unfortunately, the memory of the Holocaust is becoming weaker, and the evil that tries to destroy the lives of entire peoples still remains in the world, he added. Nazi Germans murdered 6 million Jews from all over Europe, annihilating 2/3 of Europe's Jewish population and 1/3 of all Jews worldwide. In 2005, the United Nations designated January 27 as International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
יחנה וימייחנה חי דכל בית ישראל והגולו את מקורי ויברו אמן
The Ukrainian Defense Forces have seized the tactical initiative from the army of the aggressor country Russia in the Zaporizhzhia direction, and now the enemy is seriously burning the ground. Ukrainian military and political analyst Dmitry Snegirev spoke about this on the Freedom TV channel. The Zaporizhzhia direction plays an important role for the occupiers in deploying an offensive, but so far the enemy has not yet had any successes. On the contrary, the Ukrainian armed forces have stabilized the front line and gained a significant advantage in the use of drones and weapons. The occupiers themselves admit this in their publics. I found a rather interesting message when the occupiers reported that in the Kamensk area, Ukrainian HIMARS hit the rear column of the Russian occupiers, and the losses in this episode alone amounted to 100 people. And the occupiers note that the sanitary losses, that is, the wounded, were only 6 to 8 people, the analyst said. Recently, Ukrainian soldiers destroyed a Russian 1L122 Harmony radar station in the temporarily occupied part of Zaporizhzhia Oblast. Ukrainian military intelligence reported the first attempt to strike the enemy radar was not immediately destructive due to weather conditions. Having heard the initial explosion, Russian occupiers attempted to evacuate the equipment, folding up the radar and loading it onto a vehicle. As they were about to leave, Ukrainian forces struck again. The second strike successfully destroyed both the radar system and the personnel operating it, along with the vehicle carrying Russian radio reconnaissance specialists. Discussions about the possibility of a large-scale Russian offensive in the Zaporizhzhia direction started in late 2024. NV sources reported that Russian invaders planned an offensive operation in Zaporizhzhia, but were forced to redeploy their forces to Kherson Oblast. However, Ukraine's armed forces warned that the threat of a Russian assault still remains in the area. Ivan Fedorov, Zaporizhzhia Oblast governor, confirmed that rumors of a possible Russian offensive against Zaporizhzhia have been circulating since March, labeling them as part of Russia's psychological warfare tactics. Meanwhile, the city of Zaporizhzhia regularly comes under Russian attacks using guided aerial bombs, Shahed drones and missiles. Let us recall that the army of the aggressor country Russia attempted to occupy an island on the Konka River in the Zaporizhzhia region, which flows into the Kakhovka Reservoir, which was previously a left tributary of the Dnieper. However, the Ukrainian armed forces prevented this and eliminated the occupiers. Recently, the partisans countered the plans of the Russian military offensive in the Zaporizhzhia direction by transmitting information about the location of the enemy command post and personnel in the region. Earlier, the Southern Defense Forces also reported that in the Orekov and Gulyai-Polyi directions, Russian invaders continue to conduct active aerial and other reconnaissance with the aim of carrying out new assault operations.
The crew of one of the boats of the Navy of the Armed Forces of Ukraine destroyed an enemy missile during an air attack by Russia on the night of January 25. The Russian X-59 was launched at the seaport Yuzhny by the Su-57 aircraft. But the sailors did not give it the opportunity to hit the civil infrastructure of the sea trade port. How they repelled the attack, they showed in the Navy. The crew of one of the boats of the naval forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine destroyed the enemy missile X-59, which was launched from the Russian Su-57 aircraft and was aimed at the civil infrastructure of the Yuzhny sea trade port. The naval forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine together with units of other forces' defenses continue to destroy the enemy on land, sea, and in the air. Noted in the message. The Navy also published a video of the reflection of the night attack. It shows the moment of hitting the enemy rocket, as well as its wreckage with a characteristic hole that appeared as a result of the impact. We remind you that during the night attack on the night of January 25, a residential 9th floor was damaged in Vishnevo, Kiev region. Balconies on several floors were destroyed, window frames were knocked out. In one of the entrances there was a destruction of the ceiling of the stairwell.